Today I'm going to do just a little bit of food prepping. That way I don't have to worry about cooking for the next week or so. This is my grandma's baked meatball recipe. Also works for hamburgers. It only has 5 ingredients. So we're going to start with the dry ingredients. And I'm going to go over how to carb count all of this too, because not all recipes are the same. So we are doing, how much are we doing here? 1.5 cups of breadcrumbs. 1 package of Lipton soup mix. I bought the knockoff just because it was a little cheaper. Should taste the same, in theory. All right. 1 cup of sour cream. And I'm just going to use the mixer today because I've mixed this before with my hand, but I don't like touching raw meat to begin with. And with how cold the hamburger is, it makes my elbow go kind of numb. So mixer's going to be a little easier today. 1 egg. Wash my hands after the egg. And then 2 pounds of hamburger. This one's 3 pounds. I'm going to use the other pound for a different recipe. So, I'm going to cut in about a 1/3 section there. Oh, straight around the middle. Perfect. Yeah. I love hamburger, but touching it just grosses me out. So, and then once this gets going in the oven, I get to start peeling more wallpaper. Alright. Where'd that spoon go? And you're just going to mix this until it's all incorporated together. So while that's mixing, get everything off of the stove. And then we're going to preheat the oven. Preheat the oven to 350, I think it said. Yep, 350. So while the oven is preheating, we're going to grab, this is just a pizza pan. I use this thing for everything. You're going to make the meatballs as big as you want. We're not going to grease the pan because, so I bought lean hamburger, but there's always a lot of grease in any type of raw hamburger you get. Get the leanest possible that you can. I bought one of those big ones where you get like, it's a big tube, like this big at Walmart. It was on sale. I want to say it was like 20 pounds for $10, and I bought it. And like a good 1/3 of it was just swimming in grease. So this was the leanest that I could get at the store at midnight last night. I do my shopping after work, so they're not always stocked, but it works out. So just make them as big of meatballs or as small of meatballs as you want. Yeah, I'll go over all the math with the carbs and everything. So I always assumed that, well, they're meatballs or hamburgers, there's not going to be any carbs in them because it's meat. You don't have to deal with anything like that. But once I started making these, eat them, and your blood sugar starts to show that, you know, there are indeed carbs in them. we have to go through and count all the carbs for everything that goes in this. So that's going to be the breadcrumbs, the onion soup mix, along with the sour cream. It's not that hard, and I'm not good at math at all, by any means. But I'm going to finish getting these rolled out, and then once these are in the oven, I will be back with the number crunching. Just a quick side note here. My instructions say bake 8 to 10 minutes. So that timing undercooks them. Just because if you're putting them into a recipe, like if you're going to cook them with spaghetti or bake them, in a casserole dish, what have you, they're going to be undercooked. That way they finish cooking with the rest of the meal and your meatballs aren't overcooked. So I tried this about a year ago when I was living in a basement apartment, and that oven cooked everything usually really quickly, but that took about 12 to 13 minutes cooking just to get them fully cooked. And everyone has their own preferences. It makes a lot of meatballs, by the way. Everyone has a preference on how well done they like their hamburger. I prefer mine fully cooked. But, I mean, it's up to you. Whatever you like, but just as a side note, I'm going to do these a little undercooked, because if you microwave them when they're frozen, they're still going to cook in the microwave a little bit too, but it's all up to your personal preference. So while those are in the oven, we're going to go through all the math. I made my meatballs a little on the bigger side, so they're going to take slightly longer to cook. Again, it's all personal preference on that. But there are 26 on the pizza pan. So since we have to go through all of the ingredients that we know have carbs in them and just go off the label. So the sour cream had 2 grams per serving size, and there's 7 servings to one of these. So 7 times 2 is 14. The soup onion mix has 4 grams of carbs per serving, 8 servings per packet. So 4 times 8 is 32. Breadcrumbs has 18 carbs per quarter cup. We used a cup and a half. So that's 6. 18 times 6. So sour cream, the total numbers here, 14, 32, and 48. So we're going to add all 3 of those up, and that gives us 94. So 94 grams of carbohydrates total for these 3 ingredients. Hamburger doesn't have any carbs, so we don't need to worry about that. 26 meatballs, so 94 divided by 26 gives us 3.6. So I round up to 4. So for every single one of my meatballs is 4 grams of carbs. Everyone has different, insulin ratios and all that, but 4 grams is really low on the carb scale, I guess. And again, depending on how big you make your meatballs, it's going to be off a little bit. So if I made them a little smaller, it would have only been 3, but I don't know if I'm doing a good job of explaining this. I understand it, but I'm also really bad at math. Really bad. It took me 3 years to pass college algebra, but I did. So the timer just went off, so I'm gonna go get one of those guys. They smell really sweet. Not in a gross way. I don't know, like meatloaf has a sweet smell to it, but they smell good. So, yeah. Alright, so the pan's cooled off a little bit. And remember, we did not grease the pan. The first time I tried this on my own, I bought the cheapest meat possible. It was just swimming in grease. So the leaner the meat, the healthier it is, but the easier this is too. So, ooh, that's still warm. These come off. I mean, there's going to be a little bit of spot there, but there's not that much grease on there. Shoo. I love these meatballs. They're best when they're fresh, but I'm going to freeze most of these. And they're filling too, especially if you get a side of something else like your vegetables, whatever. Alright, so 4 grams of carbs per meatball. Bolus carbs, 1, 2, 3, 4. I haven't eaten anything all day, and it's after 4. It's my day off, so I got to sleep in. They're mushy in a good way. I'm not the best with being a food critic, but it's, I want to say soul food, but that doesn't seem like the right phrase. Once you eat like 2-3 of these, they are really heavy though. They fill you up really well and really quickly. So, yeah. I get to go peel more wallpaper this afternoon. It's gonna be fun. I was peeling wallpaper. For like an hour last night. Once I start peeling wallpaper, I kind of forget to blink, so my eyes are just like glued open. But I might be next week. It's a lot more work than I expected it to be. So if you try the recipes, let me know. It was my grandma's recipe. I don't think she would care that I'm putting this out there. So she liked feeding people. So let me know if you like it. It's not that hard. It's only 5 ingredients. Not that long to cook either, or bake. So see you later.